Good, man. Good. It's been a while, you know?
Uh, well, first of all, my name is Michael. Thank you so much for being down to do this. How old was I at that time? Like 18, 19. Self is like giddy as hell and has been waiting
Hell
for this
yeah.
day. So I'm very, very thankful.
Hell yeah,
That's
man.
awesome.
Do you guys have any questions or anything before we get started?
No, I'm drinking a ginger ale for our session
Okay,
because
Don't
I'm
worry.
not a drinker.
I'm not.
that's totally fine.
But and Nick's got a nice little blood orange Italian soda or
Don't
something.
worry. We'll get the ASMR of me opening it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Uh, well, hell yeah. I'm stoked. I've been working on an intro in my head for probably since I sent that email
Okay.
originally. So we'll see if I've been tweaking it every day. So let me see if I can pull this off.
Let's do
Uh,
it.
but to start every episode, I know Nick, like you said, you still have yours unopened. I do start off with an opening crack to start the episode. So I don't know if you want to do that with me here.
That's what. Of course, man. Of
All
course.
right.
Get it nice and
So
close.
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I'll count us down. We'll crack these, and then I'll do the little intro, bring you guys in. We'll just have a good time.
Sure.
Wait.
All right.
Love it.
In three, two, one. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. If you've tuned into a lot of the video episodes or you've heard me talk about the flags that are in my room, one that always comes up, and it's right here to my left, right, depending on which way it's focused on the screen, is this beautiful Major League Hard Feelings flag that I've had since probably at least 2015 or so. I'm very stoked to have them on the show today to talk about everything that they've been up to and the 15-year anniversary of The Truth Is. How are you guys doing?
We're good, man. We're great. We're out here in sunny
Tired.
California. Nick's a little tired. He's still trying to get his body on schedule.
It's just a
So
little bit.
yeah.
We're good though. It's awesome.
Hell yeah, yeah. I mean, that is a big change going from East Coast time to West Coast time. Like I've done just the Midwest to West Coast, and like that still fucks you up a little bit. But
Yeah.
like having those extra hour in there like just really does it.
Yeah, that first day he got in was I felt so bad because by like 5:30 p.m. his eyes were blinking at different times. He was like trying so hard to stay awake.
We were out like getting sushi. Everybody's just like talking. I'm meeting people for the first time, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry.
It's just fading.
This is not who I actually am. I apologize.
Yeah, I think the time that I went out, my buddy got his tickets to like the Padres game, so I flew
sick.
out. We went and got food, and then Padres game. By the time like that got done, I was just like, dude, what year is it? Like it
Yeah.
felt like it just the longest day possible.
It always does.
Oh yeah, I've been here for 3 months already.
Yeah. That's what it feels like.
Um, Obviously, you can hear their voices, you can see them on the screen. But before we get too far, can you kind of go between the two of you so they know who they're talking to or listening to and hearing talk? Can you say who you are and what you do in Major League?
I'm Nick. I am the lead vocalist in Major League.
And I'm Brian. I'm the other guy. I play guitar.
Uh, I'm sure a lot of people that are tuning into this episode know who Major League is. For people that might not be aware, Major League is I can say is now since
Is again.
you guys are kind of back. A pop punk band slash easycore from New Jersey. Originally active from 2009 2016, putting out some great hits as The Truth Is EP, Variables, Hard Feelings, and then there's Nothing Wrong with Me that kind of encapsulated that era of Major League. You guys were very much a staple, I feel like, in the scene at the time. I did have to go back because I don't think I ever fully saw you guys live, unfortunately, but I was definitely a fan. that era of music and pop punk was just extraordinary at the time, and it's crazy to see bands kind of go away, due to life changes and like kind of take hiatuses and have everyone kind of come back and see the rejuvenation of all the fans that are ready for it. I know we'll talk about some of that stuff here, but like we've seen it with Forever Came Calling for the with the Punches as well. Like
Hmm.
I know Zach from Manowar is kind of doing stuff again, but it's nice to just see all that stuff that was so big in my uh, shaping of my what I listen to now. Just kind of
Right.
resurge. It's been great.
Yeah. No, it's cool for us as well. I think that's I mean you mentioned Forever Came Calling and obviously with the Punches, both bands on the reunion show that we're doing. And I think that was a huge part of like asking them to do it was because these are two bands that we watched go out around the same time that we did. And then to watch them kind of re-step into that water again, it was kind of like, we've been out of it for, so long now. I mean, I was in it for another 3 years after Nick left, but like he's been at it for 13 years. And so for us talking about coming back into it, it was like, all right, we're gonna do this again. Someone needs to hold our hand. We need the guys that like are back to doing because FCC. I actually filled in on bass for them for Warp Tour and stuff. And like the whole time I was just like that annoying little brother like questioning Joe, like, okay, so what's it like? What's it like doing this again? And what's it like doing this? Like just trying to like re-understand like it's been so long for us and like the game has changed so much. When we were touring, Spotify wasn't a thing. Like it was like all these platforms, you still had iTunes. We were still going to malls and like showing people our songs
Yeah.
on iPods and just being like, "Hey, check out our band." But so coming back into it and you hear about streaming numbers and like, what just the whole world of it has changed so much. And I just think that like asking those two bands to be a part of this for us was kind of a no-brainer. Like when it came to like, all right, if we're gonna do a reunion show. I mean, when we asked FCC, we are like, I know this is a big ask, but would you come across the country the week of Thanksgiving? And Joe was like, dude, say less. Like we're there. So yeah, it's very cool to see. It's very cool because, I think we were like, this will never happen again. We'll probably never do that. But
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I've been extremely far removed from like all of this. I haven't been to a show in 13 years. The first show back that I went to was the Set Your Goals, Homegrown, Hit the Lights. Um,
Dave from
yeah,
Fireworks.
Dave from Fireworks at the venue that we're playing in New Jersey. And it was just so surreal to be back. I don't know. It was overwhelming but exciting and new at the same time, which is so weird. So we're pretty excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember there was a point in my life I didn't step away as much as you did, Nick, but like I took like in the little Iowa scene that we had, I did some TMing and would be on the road, but then like we would book shows when we were home, and then there was just a moment where I just kind of stepped away just because life was getting in the way. I think well, this was post college, so I mean, I can't remember what else was there. But then, the time that I decided to like kind of step back into it and go see all those friends again, and I remember going to that first show, I was just like, it felt the same but completely different, all
Hmm.
in this weird amalgamation. Just like some people were the same, some people were still there, and then you're just seeing this new crop of people at the shows that
Hmm.
you have to kind of be like introducing yourself to, but also being like, I kind of had cred like at one point, like I shouldn't have to do this. Uh, like it feels weird, like trying to like prove myself to these 19-year-olds, but then I was like, I don't know, we'll just deal with it and see what happens. But being so far removed as like you were, like I can't imagine like that step going back in and just like seeing everything because obviously it's still out there, but like I was kind of reading through like the Reddit post and just how much reserved you were from like everything
Yeah.
after everything happened, and like I didn't realize you had just taken that full step away from the internet as much and like music in general as you had done.
Yeah, man. I think like Brian and I have talked so much it like about what it was back then and like how we both grown up so much. Like we're older now, clearly, right? We were kids way back when, and to like think about how we treated each other, and the things that we said and the things that we did, it was like, why were we so dumb? We were
I
so,
was a tyrant.
yeah, like I was an asshole too. You know what I mean? Like there was so many things. I don't think I'd ever do it differently because then this would never,
Yeah,
never have happened.
Yeah.
totally.
You know?
100%. I think that there's a, I don't know, there's a lot that we like unpacked with it and stuff.
Mm.
And like Nick said, I don't know that I can say I wouldn't do anything differently. I wouldn't do it differently. I would just do it a lot less um like as a tyrant. I say that joke like half jokingly, but like in all honesty, I think like I grew up in like a very like I have something to prove here kind of thing, and I think that made me a little difficult to deal with because I mean, we were all young. We were 19 years old, but I was putting expectations on everybody else that I like expected out of myself instead
Mm.
of like meeting them where they were. So it was like, what do you mean you can't do this? What do you mean this is gonna happen? And I think that as we grew as a band, we went very fast from like my mom's garage to Japan. And we were just like,
Yeah.
wow, how did that happen? Like, and with that, having no management at the time, having no real direction, we were just kids. I think like there was a lot of like we were managing ourselves and we were parenting ourselves
Mm.
through this like being across the world and playing like bigger stages and whatnot. And there was no one that really at that time took us under their wing to say like, hey guys, here's how it is out here. So it was very much like within our little van, like for like a lack of better, like in the van, it was there's so much like turmoil and frustration with each other while also being the best time of our lives. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
Like while also
100%.
being like we're seeing all these cool things and we get to do all this awesome stuff, but then once everything would wind down, it was like very much like it's like family, you know? And I think that like not having the tools back then to manage those emotions and that frustration and everything just like it was just concocting itself for something that wasn't sustainable. And I think what's exciting about it this time around is to like have grown the way we have and be adults and we're all in our separate lives now doing our things. And like there was like some anxiety on my part when like we were just going to get dinner and like we had just started talking back in February of this year and it was just supposed to be a dinner and I remember pulling up into the parking lot and I text my wife and I was like, this is the dumbest idea. And she was like, why? And I was like, I feel so anxious right now. I kind of want to leave. Like, what am I going to say to this guy? I haven't seen him in 12 years. Like, what do I say? Like, hey, remember how we used to be roommates and traveled the world? And now I know nothing about your life. Like, it's just like so strange. And then I
Wow.
walked into the diner and I sat down and he came walking in and I saw him come through like the first pass of doors. And then as he came through the second, he just starts cracking up laughing and puts his head down and like, and it was like, that's it. We were just like right
Like,
back to
yeah,
normal.
nothing
Like,
changed. Like the good things never changed.
yes.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
The good things never changed.
Yeah.
That yeah, that's amazing. That I mean, the connect like reading through the Reddit and seeing what Nick was posting of just like I want to make amends. I don't know if it'll ever happen. It's such a daunting thing. Like it was kind of funny one reading it today and then knowing that I was going to sit down with you guys to both do this. I was kind of like, oh, obviously it things happen, but to know where you were kind of at that point and that not necessarily like animosity but just like not knowing how to like bridge that gap and then
Yeah.
have that moment of just like immediately laughter of just like it just like kind of just fixes it all in that kind of one moment. Obviously there's still the talking that needed to happen or whatever, but like it already bridged the gap just with that. Like I know plenty of friends where we could probably have that same moment, and we've done it in the van too of just like probably the same thing you guys have done where we just bicker at each other and then next thing you know we kind of just look at each other and just kind of just like snicker at each other and just smile and
Mm.
then like all right, we're good, like
Right.
we've resolved that. But to like have that moment again is so
Yeah.
wonderful, to kind of fix those bridges. But it's also crazy that so that happened in February and now here we are where
Oh,
we're doing a 15-year show and vinyl's already out.
It's
Like
bonkers.
that's crazy.
it's
Yeah.
it's very reminiscent to what Brian was talking about before. Is like when we first started, we're doing this ourselves. It was we just hit the ground running. We had no one to help us, no one to do any of those things. And we are very much people that when we get something in our head, it's how fast can we do this? Like that's just who we are as
Nick
people.
Nick booked the flight out here a week ago.
I did,
It
yeah.
was like we had the conversation of like, you should come out to California, and then he just sent me his itinerary.
I was like, okay, cool. I'll be out there. No problem. It's been, 13 years since I've been in California, but
Yeah.
sure, we'll do that. But it's like, those are the type of people we are. But it's so cool now because we have this team around us. Like being out here in California and again, being removed for as long as I was, and then coming back, the world is so small. I was talking to Brian about this earlier. The world in the music scene is so small now, and everybody wants to be there for you. So we're sitting here going, okay, awesome. We want to make all of these happen, all of these things happen super, super quickly, like quick turnaround time. Let's just do this. And everybody's like, okay, cool. What do you need? And we're like, what?
Yeah.
This is so sick. Like, this is so awesome. And it's different now because again, we have our own lives. We have, all these other things that we have commitments to, but we can still do these monumental things. I think to me, they're at least monumental. But they don't have to be us on the road, 10 months out of the year, like
Yeah.
they can be these curated things that are for people who listen to the music, who want to be a part of that experience, but also curated things for us. And to have this opportunity is mind blowing. It's just boggling, man, to be
Yeah.
able to do this again. Because again, we talk about it all the time. We never thought that this would ever happen again,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much insane. How did it feel like when you initially thought like, okay, let's do something for this 15 year now that we're kind of back together, and then seeing just the responses? Because I remember when you guys started doing like these cryptic posts on like Facebook and Instagram, like I immediately was texting people like, "Yo, something's happening right now. Like I don't know what it is, but like they're doing something here."
So
Hold on. Let me say this. I have this running theory that this was Brian's plan all along. This was his master plan, was to get Major League back together so that way we could do reunions and just be friends again.
because it's so fulfilling when I get to take Red Eyes back to New Jersey multiple times a month. I was like, this is my chance to take as many Red Eyes in a
I'd
month
love
as possible.
to.
So the funny thing about all that is that like so a friend of mine runs Paper and Wax, which is the vinyl company. And we do a coffee every Wednesday together, and we were having coffee one day, and he's like, I have a question for you. And I was like, what's up? I saw that this year is the 15-year anniversary of The Truth Is. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, how come you guys never pressed that on vinyl? And I was like, "Oh, I just don't know that enough people would want like those 7 songs on vinyl. Like I don't know. It was back then, vinyl was such an exclusive thing. Again, that record came out in 2010. Vinyl wasn't even like, it was like that was reserved for like bigger, cooler bands, but not your little pop punk band that you're like playing to 25 people for a slice of pizza. So it was like, yeah, we're not gonna press vinyl right now. So I just, explained that to him, and he was like, well, look, like I know a ton of people that love that record, and like I've had people hit me up just being like, "Yo, like you should do something with Brian for that." And so I was like, I mean, I'd be open to it. That'd be cool. Let me talk to the rest of the guys and see if that's something they're into. But that would be cool. It's the 15th anniversary. And so I like pitched it to them, and Nick was like, I mean, I would love to have it on vinyl. That's cool. And I was like, okay, cool. It's nothing out of our pocket. Like, we'll just let them take care of everything, and they just want to press it. And so everybody was like cool about it. And then Lupe contacted me again and was like, hey man, if we're gonna do this, I think we should do an exclusive artwork for it. So I was like, okay, I'll take a shot at it. So I like redrew the artwork just for like a 15-year anniversary thing, and sent that to him, and he was like, this is rad. You guys should promote it. You guys should like post something about it. And I was like, oh, now I got to do work. Like, I was like, this went from
It's Lupe's fault.
Yeah, it's all Lupe's fault.
This is all Lupe.
This is all Lupe's master plan now. Yeah, so he was just like, yeah, I think you should do something to promote it. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. Because like, you don't want to put something up and then 6 months later he's like, hey, we got our first sale. So I was like, sure, yeah, I'll post something about it. So I just thought like it'd be cool to put like just do a me putting the vinyl on a record player and have that be it. Um, and then my wife was like, "Well, hey, if Nick's like if you and Nick are talking again, I think it's like really innocent to ask him if like, hey, can I involve you in it because people haven't heard from you and stuff." And instead of it looking like, oh, Brian's putting out the truth is on vinyl, maybe it like looked like more of a group effort if maybe like Nick's name came up on the phone at the end of the video or something. And I was like, oh yeah. So I texted him and he was like, yeah, man, I don't care. Like, just send it to me. And I was like, okay. So I made it. I sent it to him and he was like, looks cool to me. And I was like, all right. And I posted it. And then immediately our old booking agent like contacted me and was like, what's going on? Because I'm getting offers like left and right for something. And I was like, oh no, 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 no. We're not a band again. I was like, we are strictly just posting vinyl. And he was like, well, we should talk. I mean, if you guys are all talking again, we should like maybe open the and I was just like, I gotta be honest, man. Like, I just have a lot of things going on. I just started to know these guys again. I don't know that that's like an actual thing for at least for right now, but maybe like next year or something, maybe we like get together for a one Philly show or something and have it just be a nice send off to like that part of our lives or something. Because we never got to do a proper like goodbye show. And so like maybe this is a chance to like we'll all get together, we'll do one night with Major League and that's kind of it, goodbye forever type thing. And so we like talked about it and it kind of was what it was. And then friends started hitting us up, and then like more and more people, and then the vinyl sold out in like 15 minutes.
It was wild.
And everybody was just like, "Yo, you guys should be doing something. This is so stupid that you guys are friends. You all still do music. You all still like. Why are you not just doing it together and doing this?" And we talked about it, and I was like, "Let's talk about seriously. Let's talk about like 2026 and like what that holds for us and whatnot." And then I woke up to a text one morning from our booking agent that was just like, "You literally can't say no to this. You guys are gonna play a show in New Jersey. Like, this is the date. You're doing it like this fall." And it was like the first time that I think I realized how excited I was for it. You know, like it was because talking again and all that felt so hype, and it felt like I would get like it's so lame, but like I would get like that like was sitting at lunch with my wife and I'd be like, hold on, Nick's texting me. Like, and she'd be like, we're in the middle of a conversation. I'm like, I know, but it's Nick. Like,
My
and
wife
it was
hates
like,
you.
yeah. And it's like just that thing where it's like, there was definitely excitement again to like, we were roommates. We were like best
Yeah,
friends. We lived together. We, both at home and on the road. We were like, when we got hotels and stuff, it was me and him. And like, that was like, we were in a room and then everybody else. So it was very much like having that person back in your life. I was just kind of like, excited to have that dynamic again, have that friendship and whatever else. And then when we got this like show offer and the tentative lineup and whatever else, I think that's where it really set in that like, oh my God, we might be able to do this again.
Yeah.
Like we might be, and I started feeling, and my knees started to feel better. I like all the old parts of me were kind of like wakening back up. I was like, oh, wait a second, this is super exciting. But yeah, it's crazy because like Nick said, like it feels like it just happens to be like the major league way of things. Everything happens so fast for us. Like just like it did in the beginning. We put out the EP, like the Truth Is EP as like a like, yeah, let's take a shot at this. We really want to tour. We've been like writing these songs in my house for a while. Like, let's take a shot at this and like actually try and do this as a band outside of South Jersey. And the week that we put The Truth Is out, there was a website called Strike Gently at the time. I don't know if you knew about that, but it was like kind of like a Tumblr, but like it was like very like Wild West era of the internet. And Strike Gently made it its like New Music Friday thing. Like they put The Truth Is artwork as their background, like tiled and stuff. And I remember like people calling like, "Yo, you guys are on Strike Gently," and we were getting offers for tours and stuff. And we were like,
man.
"What?" Like,
really
okay, yeah, let's do this. Cool. I guess this is how it happens, kind of thing. And literally less than a year later, we were in Japan, and we were just like, dude, this year has been a whirlwind. Like, I don't know how we got here, but like we did like a 96-day summer tour. Like it was like it was just
that we booked ourselves.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
that we
God.
booked
Set
ourselves.
ourselves.
Yeah, and so getting back together for a dinner, like, and having that happen in March, and just speedlining us to June when this show got booked was just kind of like. That happened so fast. I went 12 years without speaking a word to this guy, and now we have a career together again. It's like how are we just back on the saddle like this? But it's just like I don't know. It just feels really reminiscent of like what that band's energy was, you know? Like that band had like a whole mind of its own. It was like its own beast, and like I
Mm.
feel so fortunate to be a part of it in like any capacity still because, you know, I don't know, it's wild. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, there's still such a following for it, and like it was just so great to see it come back. I mean, one, just seeing all the questions that were on the Reddit forum, but like seeing everyone that's like commented on any of the posts, like especially when Nick's name popped up on the phone, just like everyone starting to freak out for that. Then like even the video of like Nick you turning around in your chair, like that was great. But just like it is even like the vinyl selling out so fast. Like there was two variants, I think 300 copies almost total. Thankfully, I was able to get a copy, so
Let's
hell yeah,
go.
I
Hell
made sure
yeah.
to set
Nice,
that
man.
alarm.
Well, thank
But
you.
to see it sell out so fast, I was like, holy fuck! Like there's still a good following for you guys. It's insane.
Which is like I never thought when when I first did that Reddit thread, I didn't know what was going to happen. It was kind of one of those things where, I was in a good place mentally. That was the start of my good mental health, right? We'll just put it that way. And when I was on there, I wanted to be transparent because that's how I want to live my life. I want to be transparent because I feel like honesty is the most important thing. And to have the responses and the people, comment and like reply was absolutely insane. And I was like, oh, this is really cool, that people still truly cared, right? They still truly cared about what Major League was. And then after that it was just kind of like, okay, cool, I did that thing, I did my piece, and we'll move on, and someday I can tell my son about it. And then I think when we started posting things and people started calling us and reaching out, and the vinyl and selling out the way it did, it was like people still care. Like they truly care, man. And like I think that was such a big part in the drive to do something again, was that if if people really care, let's do this. Like if people truly honestly loved our music and would love to be a part of something again, over a decade later, like why are we not doing it? Like why are we not sharing what this moment is
Hmm.
with the rest of the people that were a part of that? And I think that was the main drive behind that. And it's just so surreal, man. Absolutely so surreal.
Yeah.
I think it just is a testament to like kind of what I said earlier. Just that era that you guys were in was just so impactful for a lot of people,
Mm,
and there was just so many good bands out there. I mean, just looking down at my desk, it's slightly off camera, but I have stickers all over this desk. I got like Count to Four, Real Friends, Man
yeah.
Overboard, Knuckle Puck, Candy Hearts. There's some
Mm,
Seaway stickers around here too, but like
anyway.
just like that's those bands and you included were like just such a great era of everything. I remember it's been a couple years now, but when Forever Came Calling did the 10-year of I'm gonna butcher the name, it's even right behind me, of Contender. Um I flew to California just to go to the Anaheim show,
That's same.
and then they ended up doing the whole tour, and I was like, I could have probably went somewhere closer, but I still I still went because like that era was just peak for me. Like everyone was just killing it, and there was just good music all around. And then just
Sure.
see like everyone just grinding. Like there was a different kind of grind then than there is kind of now when it comes to
Yeah.
touring. And like I think I even kind of was thinking about it today when I was listening to Heads Up Kid. Like just that song, like a lot of what's taking place in that just like encapsulated like some of the shitty drives that we did, and just
Yeah.
like was super reminiscent for me. But yeah, just to see everyone still connect with everything. Like I listened to probably Hard Feelings way more than I probably should in 2025. But it's one of my favorite albums. Like you guys have always
Yeah.
had a special place with a lot of people.
Thank you. Thank you. I also have listened to it too many times for 2025 because I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember them.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
like, what the hell? How's this song go? Was I there for this one?
I didn't print lyrics from
Yeah.
rehearsal at all. No, not at all.
uh yeah, man, it was very special. It's a very special time, and I think that like when I had like left that scene and whatnot, because I still, I mean, that's the music is like all I do like for a job now, but like when I left the scene, I think I left at a time where I felt so jaded from it, you know, like I was so tired. I never wanted to do it without him. Like that was like it was one of those things where like you just like when he said he was leaving the band, it was like, wait, what do you mean? Like then what do I do? Like because I was just like I I never wanted to be the guy. I always wanted to be just the songwriter and then just be like, hey Nick, how's this sound? Like and then we work it out and like phonetically work it for how he wants to sing it and what his melodies are or whatever. And then it's like, okay, cool. And that was our dynamic. And then when he was like, hey, I'm out, it's kind of like, well, I don't want to get somebody else because I, one, don't want someone else now singing our songs. And two, I kind of had this like holding out hope that like, in like 15 days, he'll be like, yo, you didn't announce it yet, right? All right, cool, my bad. Like, I'm back in the band. And so I was like, I'm just going to keep a placeholder. So I'll just sing and like, I'll just like step up to this. And then after doing that for like 3 years, I just felt so like, mentally and emotionally worn down because like as you know during that era it was when the internet changed everything.
Mm.
And so it went from like you can't just be a band, you also have to be like a content creator and a
Right.
photographer and your own like, you know, all these things that also came with it. And I think that like I had already hit a burnout point and wasn't taking time for myself. And then beyond that was then given all these other jobs that I had to do. And I was just like, I need to step away from this. I need like I just need time to figure out me and what I want out of this because like I'm so jaded and lost from all of it right now. And it took me a long time to be able to like look at that stuff again and be like, "Oh wait, that was really special. Like what we did was really special. And not like just us. Like I'm saying like the whole scene of what was happening. Like
Mm.
our first tours being like us and Forever Came Calling and OG Broadside and Giants at Large and Handguns and
Mm.
like and then Man Overboard taking us out and doing shows with the Wonder Years in Philly and like doing like, you know, all these other bands that we had looked up to now kind of taking us under. And like a big one for us was Gary Cioni from Day Trader and
Yeah.
Crime in Stereo. Like he like saw us play in New York with the Wonder Years and he was just like, "Yo, so I'm gonna book your band from now on." And we were like, "What?" And he was like, "You guys are cool as shit, but like, how are you not getting paid for tonight?" And we were like, I don't know. We forgot to ask. Like, we never sent a W-2 or anything. And like, and he was like, "Let me handle this from now on, because like, you guys should just focus on playing music. This should not be your thing." And we are like, "Thank you." Like, and but when Gary took us on, it really changed everything for us because then we started like getting paid for shows number one, but like we started getting put on tours with bands that you know our first UK tour was us replacing Day Trader on a Funeral for a Friend tour. And
Mm.
so it was Funeral for a Friend and Such Gold and Day Trader on this tour. And then Gary calls me. I was working the night shift at 7-Eleven and Gary calls me and was like, "Hey, I need a huge favor." And I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "Major League needs to take Day Trader's spot on this Funeral for a Friend tour." And I was like, "Yeah, that's not a favor, bro. That's like that's a level up." Like and and um and it's just like you know, when I think back to stuff like that, I just think like there's so much that like for the longest time I didn't believe in luck. I didn't believe I was like, yeah, you just create opportunities for yourself and that's just like it. And I just realized that like no, there's like the luck that's sprinkled into it is you're like we prepared for so long of being that band, you know? Like we still would come home from a 2 month tour and every Tuesday and Thursday rehearse. Like it was just like, cool, let's get together, let's just run through the set. Like let's just run through, we'll go grab dinner and that's the end of it. But it was like we stayed prepared constantly and we were constantly grinding at this and we were printing the merch in our trailer. Like
Yeah.
we built our own screen prints and we would go to wholesalers, buy shirts, bring them to the van, screen print them, take them to a dry cleaner, let them tumble dry so that they would adhere to the shirt, and then sell them that night. And then be like, okay, cool, we sold 2 mediums tonight, a small, and 3 larges. Go to another wholesaler, restock that stuff, print it in the trailer. So like we were like stupid DIY, and like
Yeah.
and it was like all of it was like very, very like just tooth and nail. And I think that like when I look back at that stuff at the time, it felt like, God, if we could have some help on this would have been so much better, or this would have been so. And now I look back and I'm like, dude, there's so much charm in like
Yeah.
the struggle, like the way
Oh,
that
yeah.
we did it, and like it felt so special looking back on it. And I don't know, I just like all of that just feels like reminiscent of what that scene was at the time, because we weren't anything like we weren't any more special than any of the other bands that were doing it, and that's what feels so special about it, is that it was an ecosystem of it happening. Like, you know, the all the other bands that like I just mentioned, like we're all doing the same kind of grind, and not a single one looked at the other as competition, or like, oh wow, this band's doing this, but it was just like, you know, you'd get like, we got the Census Fail tour, and I remember FCC calling us and just being like, sons of bitches, like like dude, let's go, we'll see you at the LA date. And it was like, okay, cool, yeah, like, you know, everybody's like cheering each other on. And I like that camaraderie was just like so beautiful during that time. And toward the tail end of it, I just think like while those bands, like everybody kind of started falling off, and like FCC wasn't playing anymore, Giants at Large wasn't playing anymore, and like all these bands became like, man, Overboard was breaking up, Transit was breaking up. And I just think like it hit a point to where like you looked around and you didn't recognize anybody, and you didn't feel that familiar camaraderie, because now you're kind of aging up a little bit, and I'm finding myself being 26 years old, and not 26 is a baby to me now, but like at the time you're like 26 years old, and you start looking around and you're just seeing 18 and 19-year-olds like killing it out here, making triple what you were doing. And you're just like, all right, all right. Like, I think it's time for me to like figure something out here. And I wasn't sure what that was, but now I know what it was. It was taking time to step away to figure out who I was and what I had going on, give him time to figure out his thing. Took 15 years, not 15 days, but you know, he was like, "Hey, I'm down to jump back in," and that was like everything I needed. Because I had always said after we broke up, I was like, "I'll never do anything Major League again unless Nick's involved," and it was because of exactly that. There's just something about that time period for us that like that was the magic, that was the chemistry, and like,
Right.
you know, it's great, it's awesome.
You're too kind.
I did want to bring up a couple questions regarding The Truth Is, you know, for this repress, or not repress, actual press, first press. You obviously, it's the main bulk of The Truth Is, but then you also add in Hometown Heroes at the end, which, you know, a lot of people love that song, have been looking for that song. It's not anywhere really out there. Is there going to be a chance that it's going to be, you know, put up on streaming at some point for all those people that didn't get the vinyl?
No, you have to buy the vinyl. That's the only way you can hear the song.
You have to buy the vinyl that's already sold out. Better start making friends.
Yeah, bitches.
I don't know.
We've never talked about it.
So here's the tricky thing with Hometown Heroes is that
Uh,
Major League had a very weird beginning of this band. And
we could talk like for another 12 hours about
yeah,
how weird it was.
yeah, but I'll just say that when we had first started, that was the only song we had recorded. And again, how Major League is, because it's just freaking weird. Nick and I like made fake passes to go to a music conference and try to meet people in Philly at a music conference.
An R&B music conference.
An R&B music conference. Jamie Foxx was coming off of a podium, and we had a burnt CD, and we were trying to give it to him, and his security guards like palmed it into our face and was like, "Get out of here." And then someone else wound up taking it, and by the end of that week, we were up in New York auditioning, doing a showcase for Atlantic Records, and we were like, "How did we get here? This is so bizarre." Long story short, we signed with a subsidiary that wound up owning the rights to that song. And so it wasn't until recently that we got those rights back and now have that song back and whatnot. And And so that's why we decided to add it. Lupe was just kind of like, "Hey, is there another song that we can add to this just to kind of even out the sides because there's 7 songs?" And he's like, "Do you have another song that's like a demo or an old song that never got pressed or something that we can just do like 4 and 4?" And I was like, "I mean, we do have. It's the first song we ever recorded, and it's also you obviously like on the I Don't Like You Whatsoever.
Mhm.
It's like sampled." On
Yep.
there because legally we're only allowed to sample up to like 8 seconds of that song. So it's like sampled in the beginning of I Don't Like You Whatsoever. And so I said to Lupe, I was like, I mean, if you want it, we have the rights for it back. You can just put that on the vinyl. And he was like, okay, cool. We had no idea that people were gonna be like that stoked. We got so many messages of people just being like, "Thank you for putting that song on there. We've been like, I've been looking for it for so long." I'm like, really? I didn't even know anybody knew that song. Like, it's like,
It's like our get stoked on it.
yeah,
Like nobody wants to play that song,
yeah,
but everybody wants to hear it.
yeah. That's so funny.
Because I think I came in at like a obviously more mid years of like major league. So like I don't think I ever had fully listened to Hometown Heroes. And I listened to The Truth Is, and I hear it at the beginning. I'm like, it's out there somewhere. And then
Yeah,
I've obviously it's on the record, but like I had to like go look up the full song when I was like on my phone today because I can't obviously take the record with me. It would be cool to take the whole record player with me to work and listen to everything, but unfortunately that's not a possibility. But yeah, just like seeing all the comments of just like people being like, "Where is this?" And then someone has it uploaded to YouTube, or a couple people do of just like, "I don't own this, but it should be out there. It was out there." Because I think at
yeah.
one point you guys did put it up as like the lost songs, or like there was that like kind of
So yeah, there was a missing years thing where I just like
yeah.
compiled a bunch of songs that I found on an old computer that was dying and needed to like I needed to extract things off of it, and I like found those songs. I was like, oh, I'll just throw all these up. Who cares? And I threw them up, and then old bullshit label like put a copyright, and it all came down, and I was like, all right, bro. So I just at that point I stopped fighting it. I was like, I don't care, whatever. Like it's and so it was up for a little bit, but yeah, I feel like the funny thing with Hometown Heroes is when I sent it to Lupe and he went to go put it on the other side, he texted me back and he's like, "Bro, why is this shit like 5 minutes long?" And I was like, because we were 18 and didn't know how to end a song, so we just kept going.
We were so young and dumb, man.
It was so funny.
The jump from that song to The Truth Is
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
I think we had to go through, the hard times that we did from between Hometown and The Truth Is to make The Truth Is.
Yeah. Totally.
Because without that we would have never made the record that we did.
Yeah. We had a pretty like traumatic experience with this label. Like the they like came to our rehearsal space and picked us apart person by person. Like just straight up just like you're ugly, change that. We're like, wow, this is like a movie. Like, this is like an 80s movie.
real
Or
life.
something. They're like, oh, they actually do this kind of stuff. This is crazy. So yeah, it was a long time of us like trying to figure out. I mean, it was a whole year from the time we did Hometown Heroes and all that stuff happened until we went in to do The Truth Is. It was like almost a whole year and or a little over. And so like during that time, they just shelved us. We couldn't do anything, and we just sat at my house and wrote songs, and
Mhm.
like that's all he and I did. We just sat there and we wrote songs. We probably had 15 songs that we went in to do The Truth Is with and narrowed it down to like our favorite 7. We were like, well, we don't want to do a full-length record right now.
Mhm.
So let's like really cut out the fat and just keep the core of what we want this to be, and it wound up being those 7 songs that we were like, this feels cool. So
It's still so crazy to me that you guys are like assigned basically to like an Atlantic Records like label subsidiary, but like because like the label that I always associate you guys with is No Sleep. That's for me like that was the label that I only knew you guys being
Yeah.
a part of, and it's just crazy to know that there was this whole like small era way before that and way before like even Hard Feelings and all that stuff of where it was attached to something else.
Yeah, and it felt like I felt like being a cat. Like it was just like, how do we keep surviving this stuff? Like we had
I
like
think that's
like
why we were so DIY. Like
Yeah.
that's why we were so hands-on in everything we did
yeah.
and did things the way that we wanted to do it because we were told for a whole year, for so long that we had to do it this way. We had to do this. We had to do this. We had to do that. And we weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, F this. We're
Yeah.
going to do whatever the hell we want to do. And we're
Yeah.
going to do it 120%
Yeah.
and burn ourselves out. Like that's
Yeah.
essentially what happened.
Yeah,
man.
it was.
It's like we're
Yeah.
never going to stop. And then,
And then we did.
then it happens.
Well, now fast forward into 2025, we're at the time of this recording, we're a month and a couple weeks out from what'll be the first time you guys have taken stage together in so many years. Time, like math is hard sometimes, but like how did it feel, one, to like do that initial practice and feel like how long did it take to finally have that feeling of like, oh, okay, we can actually like do this even though we've already like kind of booked this show?
My takeaway from the first rehearsal was, wow, Luke's really good.
Yeah. Luke is
We were like,
phenomenal.
Luke's still really solid as a drummer and better than he ever was. And it's like, and he was amazing back then. And it like, I left that rehearsal being like, I really got some homework to do. Like, I was like, wow, that was great. No, it was really cool. It was really cool. I think, yeah, we like, I think there was a lot of like not knowing how to be around each other,
Yeah.
you know?
It was again, it was relearning each other, but like there's one song in particular that uh we haven't played together in a really long time, and it's difficult to practice with. And I was talking to Brian about this the other day, but for us to be able to play that song together exactly how we played it 13 years ago without anybody even being able to really practice this song,
Mhm.
and it for people to remember, like the vibe was just like,
Yeah.
it was it, man. That made me feel really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying not to give away too much, but
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I'll give away a little more. We've even done songs from There's Nothing Wrong with Me with the two of us, like doing like a Taking Back Sunday thing. Just because it was like that's still an era of this band, and we still like continued beyond that, and like while doing that, we made a lot of fans from other bands taking us out and whatnot. And so it was like, hey, when we started doing this again, like he was the first to say to me, like, just so you know, I don't want to just ignore what you guys did after this. Like, if there's a possibility of doing that stuff, like whether you want me involved or not, if you want me to stand off to the side, I will. Or if you want to, and I was like, no,
the hype
please, let's take him back Sunday this thing. Let's
yeah,
yeah.
that's just me off to the side. You saved the
But like, yeah, it's like, it was like special to feel that, because there was like, I think out of anything that there was like between us, it was There's Nothing Wrong with Me felt like the elephant in the room. And only because it was the thing that we did after Nick left that like separated, like, okay, because our sound changed, like everything had to change to fit what I could play and sing and whatever else. And so like it to do that, it just kind of felt like, okay, now there's this like looming question of like, do we do anything from There's Nothing Wrong with Me? Do we even shed light that record even exists? Like, what do we do? Because we're here to talk about The Truth Is, we're here to play The Truth Is. We're obviously going to play stuff from Hard Feelings because no one's going to pay to come out to see Major League in the cold of November and be like, well, that was 7 songs. See you later. Like, it's
23 minutes.
That's a 23-minute set. So it's like, we have to make this worth it. So we're going to put Hard Feelings and Variables and whatever else we can into it. But I didn't want to be the one to bring up, like, hey, are we just going to ignore There's Nothing Wrong with Me? Like, what are we going to do with that? And so for him to bring it up first and was just like, hey, so I was listening to those songs, like, they're really good. Which one would you want to play? I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, if you're down to do that, like, let's do it. And I think that's like one of the most exciting points in this set for me, is because like some of those songs on There's Nothing Wrong with Me were written with Nick intended. Like we were writing that record when he left the band. I just wasn't able to show him a lot of the songs yet because I was still working on them. And so like there was so much in those songs that were intended for him to sing and for us to collaborate on lyrically and melody wise. And to never have that opportunity and have them be what they are. And now, like, as a fan of Nick and also as a fan of, like, because I'm so removed from it, now we're doing it again. Being a fan of Major League in that sense, I'm just like, this is so exciting for me to hear those songs how I originally intended them. Like how I originally saw this, like, yeah, when it gets to this chorus, it's gonna sound like this and blah blah blah. But then I'm the one doing it, and like I loathe being me at the time. So it's like so to like actually be able to like sit back and I'm just playing the song and I'm hearing him sing it, I'm just like, dude, this rips. Like it's so exciting and it's such a fun thing to like be able to incorporate into the set. That's like it's a reminder that we're not just paying homage to The Truth Is for 15 years. This is like a real homage to like, hey, this is what this band was like capable of, and like now I genuinely feel like we're at our best doing it. Like we've all had so much time to like season ourselves
Yeah.
and like practice and rehearse things, and like it's so like even the
Improvisation.
Yeah.
Improvisation.
um part of it is like it's so fun. Like there's parts where we just stop and we know that like okay, yeah, the crowd always used to sing this part, but we also used to just play through it. Maybe we stop and let them do this part or like whatever and doing stuff like that.
But it's not even that. It's like, it's the fact that we just did it. Like I think it's the chemistry behind it.
Right.
Is like, we just showed up in a room, played that song, and everybody just stopped at the same time with no cue, no nothing.
Yeah.
It was just that's what I think is so powerful about this. Is like, we're coming back and it just feels right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, it's so cool. And yeah, it's wild times.
Sorry, did I interrupt your train of thought? I apologize.
Dude, I interrupt my train of thought. You're good.
See, if this was 15 years ago, we'd be punching each other behind the scenes for talking over one another.
I don't know. It'd make good content.
Listen, man, I don't know how to make any content. All right, that one video that was posted is all you get from me. That's it.
I mean, that's fair. You're going to give a lot of people a lot of content on the 21st of November.
Yeah.
I think, granted, we're still a month out, so tickets right now are low. Hopefully, they're fully sold out by the time the show happens.
Yeah.
Like it'll, because this episode comes out, I have it slated for like the week before, so everyone get hyped. If you have your tickets already, make sure you're packed in there and get there early. Thinking of like, as we have talked about, like, you guys kind of coming resurrected and like Forever Came Calling with the Punches all coming back. Is there any other band from like kind of your era that you would love to see kind of make a comeback? And if they were able to like be on the show, who would you want them to be?
Seaway.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
That's just.
I mean, yeah, that's a unanimous decision. Like our whole band loves Seaway. We took those guys out in 2014 and like just some of like the funniest people, like genuinely got a kick out of those guys. And like I don't know, that they're one of those bands that like progressively just got so goddamn good, and like they were already a great band and you were just like, oh, it's exciting watching these kids do their thing, and they just continued to like when Mrs. David came out, I was like, bro, it's over, everybody can stop now. Like the song was written, guys, we found it. Like like that song's so good. Yeah, great choice. Seaway's a great.
That's my number one.
Hell yeah.
Solid. Yeah, there's so much of their earlier stuff too that I still will jam on a regular basis. They're one of those bands that I think I found like through YouTube, just watching. I think I found Sabrina the Teenage Bitch music video and then just was hooked from there.
Yeah.
And then there was a year where me and my friends just followed. It was Seaway, Candy Hearts, I think Driver Friendly, and I always blank on their name. They're a band from California, from like Walnut Creek. Not The Story So Far.
The American Scene?
No.
Where's the American Scene from? They're from that area.
But we followed their tour for like 4 days and got to like kind of just see
Sure.
Seaway outside of their shows at the same time, and they're super nice dudes. Everyone on that
Yeah,
tour package was great, but yeah, I'd love to see them kind of have a resurgence too. Um,
totally. I'm sure also the big one that I'm sure everybody would want that would probably like is title fight. Like
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah,
everybody just like has for years like that's most of what like on X, Twitter, whatever the hell it's called now. We never go on there anyway. But when I anytime I check the notifications, like especially that first week, there were so many notifications that were like, "We finally got Major League back. Now all we need is title fight." Just like it was like all of the tweets are paired with title fight. It was so funny. But it's true, man. I mean, they were such a pivotal band for that era of the scene. And then a personal favorite of mine, one of like probably my favorite band from that era that I never felt like got the respect they deserve, which some of them are in Turnstile now, but was Diamond Youth.
Mm.
Diamond Youth was like that Orange, that EP was like my personality for years. Like I was just like, this is a perfect EP. This is incredible. And they're a band that like if I could just get one show of Orange, I'd pay whatever it would cost to hear those 6 songs or like whatever. Like fine, take my money, do a 19-minute set. I don't even care. I freaking love that band. But yeah, I don't know. There's so many great obviously Mano, love
Mhm.
those guys. Transit was like one of our personal like when we first really started hitting the ground running with things and stuff. The amount of nights that he and I would like stay up just listening to Keep This to Yourself,
Mhm.
like just like sad in our room together.
My girlfriend, my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, had Transit call me for my birthday. and I still remember this phone call. They were like, "Yo, is this Nick?" And I was like, "Yo, what's up?" And they were like, "Happy birthday!" And I was like, "Happy birthday too!" Oh shit, they're one of my all time favorites.
Yeah.
Transit, yeah.
uh, yeah, all solid. Obviously, there's the 15-year show that we've kind of been keep talking about as rightfully as we should. This is an episode all based on the 15-year anniversary. The truth is,
Yeah.
for people that might not be living in Jersey or flying to Jersey, can they expect another show in the future? Like, is it just a one and done, or what's going on?
Truthfully, like this isn't us trying to be like, ooh, maybe, I don't know. We genuinely don't know because we've gotten offers for like tours and like all like bunch of other stuff, but I think the main thing for us was like we didn't even know if we were gonna do this. Can you just give us this one show to see? Like,
Yeah.
if this feels to us like, oh yeah, baby, we got this in the bag, then like, yeah, we're gonna be fully open to like, all right, let's explore this more. But if this really feels like it's something where we're kind of like, okay, that was really fun, but I just I feel a certain way about it or whatever it is. And it also has to be like the five of us agreeing on that because that was something big coming back into this was like everyone needs to like have their voice respected in this
Mm.
like this circle here because like before it was very much like I don't know, it sucks, but it's like it's how it was. I was like very much like, well, that's how I said it was gonna be, so that's how it's gonna be kind of thing. And like I think it was just because I like had a vision for things and I knew what I wanted where like it was like we were moving so fast all the time. I didn't have to like I've always felt like, well, I don't have time to wait and see if your ideas actually come to fruition. I have an idea, let's just do this. And now we've had 15 years to have ideas. And so now it's very much like anybody who wants to like speak up about this by all means like and it's been I think that's like what's been so important this time around is because there have been ideas like there have been like Matt like our guitarist Matt like has just like hit us with like yo I think we should do this instead and I think we should do this and I think it'd be cool if we did this and it's like bro yeah that's freaking sick all right I'll put that into the set whatever or like Luke just being like hey I had a thought we should do this toward the end of the set and it's like dude, that'd be beautiful. Yeah, I'm super stoked for that.
Mhm.
Awesome. Whereas like before would have been like, no, 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 this is already the set list. This is what we're doing. This is how it's going to be. And I think it's we're only going to know on November 22nd whether or not this goes elsewhere. It's either going to be like last night was so beautiful, I want to do that as many times as possible, or wow, last night was really beautiful, but XYZ, whatever. I don't think that'll be the case, to be honest. I think just the way everything feels right now, and with all of us, the way that we've talked and become like such a close knit like bonds,
Yeah.
better than we ever were before. It feels really safe being in this band now, as opposed to like before where like I always had my quills up and like always felt afraid of it like ending or like something happening. And then once it finally did, it was kind of like, oh, I think I was just anxious the whole time for this thing to happen. And then it finally did, and it was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like that was like, now looking back, it was like, I wish I would have appreciated that more. Like and and so I think that like this time around it's something that I'm definitely excited for the future and excited to see where it goes beyond this. But there is truthfully nothing on the books. There's nothing
Yeah.
that we've booked. There's nothing that we have planned.
There's nothing.
And
There's
so
no secret thing behind the curtain happening either.
yeah, it's just kind of like I would love to. I mean, we've had so many friends, even like out here, that have been in California and stuff, that are like, "Do I really have to fly out for this show? Or are you guys playing an LA show? Like, be honest with me." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't want to tell you to buy this flight and then book an LA show the following month and you hate me, but like,
Yeah, we don't.
I don't know.
We don't
Like,
want you to waste money.
yeah, like I don't want you to like I can get my wife to take some videos for you and she can send them, but like like that's the extent of it. I can't promise anything. I don't know if we're gonna do this. This might be a one and done. This might be the beginning of the rest of our lives. I don't know, but I can say that I do feel like that's not the case. I do feel like it's very possible that 2026 could be a really like
Beautiful.
yeah,
A beautiful year.
it could.
But I think that the main focus we have this time around is not like we have something to prove. Like, I think the only thing we truly care about is the when we have meetings and we call each other, it's the first thing we talk about is this going to be fun? Because if this isn't going to be fun, then why the hell am I doing it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I left because it wasn't fun.
Mhm.
So for me to come back and it not be fun, then why am I here?
Yeah.
I think that's the main focus.
Yeah.
And again, we don't want to like string people along and, allude to there may be something greater or something, happening. I said in the beginning of this interview that honesty is really big for me. And if we're not being honest with, people who we're sharing this experience with, and we're not being honest with each other, then there's no point
Yeah.
of Major League doing this, you
Yeah.
know? So I would love to go, woo, yeah, 2026.
Yeah.
But, this is it, man. This is what's on the books. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a part of it, cool, awesome, great. We'd love to have you. If you don't, I totally understand. I have a 6-year-old. I get it, But yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Also, side note, one of my other favorite things is, to your point, one of the first things we always talk about on the calls, which we never used to do before, is the first thing we do is ask how
How
everybody
you feeling?
like how's
Yeah.
everybody feeling?
How you feeling?
Because like that was, and it sounds so minimal of like the smallest gesture to be like, hey, how you guys feeling on this? But like it was never said before. It was always just felt like there was like this understanding notion of like, yeah, I better feel good about this shit. Like I better just be like stoked on it. Like, and like we always felt that way. Like I always felt like, all right, well, I can't come in with my head held low because then they're gonna hang their heads low. So like I'll just go into this stoked, I guess. And now because we're all genuinely expressing like, we've had conversations where it's like, how's everybody feeling? And someone will express like, so I'm just feeling a little nervous about this because I'm going to be using PTO and this, and this. Is there any way we can move this to this? Because I've been racking my brain with it all week and I just feel like I'm stressed to a point to where I need to talk about it. And we're like, bro, yeah, look, okay, so let's do this. How about instead of these dates? And once we talk it out and we figure that out, we're laughing
Hmm.
but the whole rest of the conversation. Then
Yeah.
we're just like quoting I think you should leave and like just like dumb stuff, you know? Like it's like and it's something that like I feel so fortunate to have in them now where it can be this expression of just like, you know, because for me, I'm flying back,
Mm.
you know, every time we do this and I'm not getting, you know, first class Delta. I'm doing red eyes on Frontier. So I'm like, you know, I'm like, hey guys, really need to express this. I need to talk about and it's always met with like, dude, yeah, say the date and like I'll be there. And it's like, we'll make your time worth it. And I'm like,
Hmm.
thank you. Hell yeah. Like it's so great to be at this point with it. So I have high hopes for the future.
Yeah, it's nice to hear. You know, obviously we've all been through those moments of like the teenage years and like just that settled, like you're saying, like where no one can really feel like they can express themselves to the full extent. Like I have friends now that when we were together back then, like I don't think we would have had the same conversations that we have now, where we get like deep
Yeah.
and emotional. So it's nice to see. Obviously, you know, you guys are more of like a mature league than just a major league now. So
Yeah.
That was clever.
yeah.
That was good.
Um, but you know, all in all, it's great to see you guys doing something again. Like I said, that era and everything you guys have done has been uh, pretty much like a staple in me with my musical listening career and everything. Obviously, behind me, I have Hard Feelings. I have I always blank on sorry. I always blank on the other one. There's nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
I don't listen to it as much. Nothing against it. Just
Yeah, yeah.
more of a Hard Feelings guy.
Totally.
But like that whole era of everything, like Forever Came Calling, I have Vera behind me too. Like just all that stuff that was pumping out
Vera.
then was just so quintessential to me and like where I'm at now. And it's just great to see you guys kind of coming together and mending fences and like doing this show and like putting something out. Whether you know it continues from here or this is just you know the final chapter in the band. It's been
Yeah.
great to see.
Thanks, man.
Well, thank you.
And also want to give a shout out to Anthony LaSala. He's throwing the show
Yes.
and he has made it so easy for us
Yes.
to say yes to it because it was just very like from the get-go. He was just like I want you guys to feel at home. I want you to feel like this is yours, curate it exactly to how you want it. Like basically told us from the jump like I'm not going to say no. So just tell me what you need. Just tell me what we need to make this happen and I think that that is to what Nick had said earlier about like being in it this time around and having people just being, what do you need from me? What do you need from me? Like that has been such a huge part of it with like between Jason Parent, who is our booking agent, and Anthony LaSala, and then Xavier Candelaria, who's been helping us on the management side. Like the team that's around like making this show happen and run smoothly, and then with Lupe with Paper and Wax, and then you know, all the way down to our wives. Like our wives have been like communicating on legal things and like sending documents and whatnot. And it's like to be able to come back into this and not be those 19-year-olds screen printing our own shirts and like just being like, all right, how do we do this? Like, we need to get a van, we need to get a truck. To have like people just be like, what do you need to make this happen again? Let us help get you that jump start
Yeah.
and then from there go print your own shirts. We don't care what you do after that. But it's that initial like jump back into the pool that they're just kind of like, we're here, like we got you, there's like anything you guys need from us. And it's just like it's really special. It's really special to be supported by that because I think it helps us show up with each other more supportive, you know, because now there's not that quills up feeling of like, well, I get no help around here kind of thing, like this single mom in a kitchen type thing. I'm just like, no one helps me in this house. Shout out my single mom. But um but like it's yeah, it's a really like wonderful thing to be able to experience and we wouldn't be able to this wouldn't be happening without all of them. Like they're all like from Luke, Matt, Eric on the band side and then Bree, my wife, Corey, his wife, Sammy, Matt's wife, like the Anthony, Xavier, Jason, Emma, like all of them all are like just such a foundation for this whole thing, and it's super rad to like be able to be welcomed into it, being like, we got you. Oh, and Gary, love you, Gary.
I feel like I have it in my notes, but I can't think of a good way to tie it in to this. But obviously, for the longest time, you guys were kind of like the wolf pack, and I feel like just the wolf pack has like grown and added more members that have just been more of a cohesive unit. I can't find a good tie-in on how it works, but
No,
people
totally.
listening, it's there. Like, just
Yeah, man.
imagine I said something cool.
Yeah.
It feels like it's there. It feels like it's there. We talk about the wolf a lot,
Yeah.
and what that means, and it's cool that our younger selves didn't realize how big of an impact the wolf pack, thing would actually be.
Yeah. I mean, it's so silly. It started on our first tour.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a joking thing. And I was going through like a really weird breakup. And I was just sat in the back of the van. And everybody to cheer me up was just like, Wolfpack, never alone. Like, we're all like, we'll get through this. And it's like, thanks, guys. Like, cool. And then, like, we like, then from there we're just like, that's kind of fun, Wolfpack never. So we started saying it at shows, and then it just became a thing. And it was just kind of like we ran with it, and then other bands started saying it, and like with us, like, it became like a little club with like all of our friends bands and stuff. And then people started getting like tattoos with it and like whatever. And we were just kind of like, oh, okay, this is like a thing. And then started printing it on merch, and then
Yeah,
that kind
it
of
was.
like, then it became like its own, like, people thought we had this one that Nick designed that looked like a college, like, university
Yeah.
logo. It just said Major League Wolfpack, and it like looked like a college crew neck or something. And like people like latched onto that. Like they were just like, yeah, this is my thing. And it was really cool to see. And it's like, it's fun to see that, like, when we first started posting stuff and just seeing all the comments of like WPNA, like,
Yeah, like
and it was just like,
the wolf
wow,
emojis
like,
and stuff like that.
yeah, I was like, all right, guys,
Man.
hell yeah. So
I mean, it's so good. Like, I think one of the shirts that I still have, obviously it's way too small for me now, but it lives in my parents' house. But I think it was just like a black design, black shirt, just basic design. I think on the front it said Major League, and then right underneath that might have said Wolfpack, or it just said Wolfpack on the front. But yeah, and then obviously you guys ended up incorporating that on the Hard Feelings, cover art, that's the word. But just seeing that grow, like, yeah, that's great, because that was going to be one of my questions tonight too, was like, what came first, the Wolfpack, or like deciding to do like the Hard Feelings cover, and to know that it started actually predating the Hard Feelings cover and doing it during your first tour. That's fucking great. That's amazing that it's lasted that long.
Yeah.
yeah, on the Truth Is tour. Like,
It was, yeah.
we were out on tour promoting the Truth Is when that whole thing came about. And yeah, it's very cool. It's, and our, like, a fan of ours, Chris Pappas, who wound up becoming a great friend of ours and designer, he did that artwork for the Truth Is, and or for sorry, for Hard Feelings. And that was like something that he had sent to us, not as an album art. Like, he sent it to us as like a, hey, like, I painted this because I love you guys, and like, hope you like it. And then we were like, could we actually use this for an album art? Like, is that cool with you? And he was like, dude, yeah, okay. Um, and yeah, so it's like funny that like it wound up then folding over into our first full length album as this thing. And it was just like, this thing kind of took off, like, it was, like, out of hand. And but it's very cool. It's very cool, yeah.
No, this has been a great time getting to talk to both of you. Like I said, ever when I gotta say, I sent that email, and I mistyped it somehow, so like it bounced back, and I like didn't get a response, and then it bounced back, and I was like, oh, okay, like that's why there wasn't a response, like, for a couple days or whatever. And then when I respelled it out the right way, and you responded so fast, I immediately texted my friend, and I was like, this just happened, and he's like, fucking go for it, do it. So I'm very stoked, like I said earlier, like, I'm very happy that I got to sit down with the both of you, to kind of pick your brains on everything, and kind of just talk about everything Major League. Like, this is pretty epic for me, and I'm very thankful that you guys were down to do this.
Yeah.
And likewise, man, because it's like Nick said earlier, coming back into this, we didn't know if anybody was going to care. So, like,
Hmm.
for you to care enough to be like, hey, I have some questions for you, like, that's fucking awesome. Like, it feels so cool to get in. I'm sorry it took us so long to actually hunker down and do this because every time that I was like,
It's
hey, man, what dates this week work for you? Then something came up and we
yeah,
were in
yeah.
the studio, we're like rehearsing or whatever it was, and it was just like, I keep forgetting to pick a day. I was like, I feel so bad. This guy's gonna be like, dude, honestly, fuck you guys. I'm
No,
so
no.
glad it worked out.
Yeah, it's all good, totally fine. I'm just so happy that we got to do this. Obviously, this has been a good time talking. Like I said, I do like to end off these episodes on kind of a high note. I know there's plenty of years for an answer here. It might be kind of hard to kind of pick one, so a few works as well. But I always like to end off with my final question of, from your time in Major League, what has been your favorite moment that you've gotten to experience so far?
God.
There's so many, man. I think honestly, I think it's the first full US tour we did
Yeah.
for me. I can't pinpoint a specific day or city or place because that experience as a whole was so special because we did it ourselves. We did all of that by ourselves and we were experiencing it for our first time by ourselves. And, the having friends meet us all the way, having Giants at Large meet us out in Texas,
Yeah.
like to come and do the rest of the West Coast and then try to make our way back home, and just the ups and the downs and the super high highs that we had and the super low lows that we had just made that experience a once in a lifetime thing that I don't think I'll ever be able to experience again. You know,
Yeah.
there's something just so special about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I can pinpoint like a specific favorite because I'm sure that like every time I reminisce on this stuff, I find another one that I'm like, oh my God, that was my favorite
Hmm.
time of this band. But I think like not even totally band related, but I think for me, one of the things that I always think about if like sometimes thinking about Major League feels like when I would like watch Superbad or something. Like you like try and remember the quotes or you try and remember, you're like, dude, is that my favorite movie? Like, did I love that? Like, it's like that's how Major League feels. It feels like a movie that I can't rewatch because I'm
Mm,
like, I try and remember things, but it takes being with those guys to be like,
yeah.
remember when this happened? You're like, dude, you just unlocked a core memory that is crazy. I forgot all about that. But I think one of the funniest ones for me was our first time going to Japan and we got detained in China because we didn't have working visas to be in
Oh, it's
China. We only
terrifying.
had working visas to be in Japan. And so when we got there, they took all of our merch, all of our guitars, all of our passports. They put us into these cars and we were planning on just staying at the airport in Shanghai because we had a 23-hour layover in Shanghai. And so we were like, all right, we're not even here a full day. Let's just hang at the airport all day. And they were
We'll
like,
just sleep.
airport closes at 3. You got to get out of here. And we're like, what? And so they took all of our stuff, put us in these cars, drove us to. Oh, and I should also note it was a bad idea to have a Man Overboard Defend Pop Punk sticker on my guitar case because I just had these two guns crossed
Yes.
on my guitar
Oh,
case.
that was the
And
worst.
they like broke open my locks on my case. And I was like, oh, dude. And um, they brought us to this hotel. They put 6 of us in a room that just like had a toilet in the corner and that was it. There was 2 mattresses on the floor and they were just like, you guys need to stay here tonight. You can't leave the hotel because legally you aren't able to be in this country. They were very nice to us in the sense that like they were right. We didn't have visas to be there. We also didn't like set up anything with a liaison or anything like that to like facilitate anything. We were just like, we'll just sleep in the airport. Who cares? And so for them to not send us back to America was very generous of them. And so this was them being like, here's how we're going to do this for all parties involved to the best of our ability. You're going to just stay in this room for 23 hours. Cars will pick you up tomorrow to take you back to the airport and you'll be on your way to Japan. And we were like, okay, cool. What they didn't tell us was that we're not going to supply you food or drinks or anything. You're just going to be in this room. So we wound up leaving through the fire escape. and went to McDonald's and then stopped at like a 7-Eleven
God.
and like we like went out for the night and like got back and it was just like when I look back on that now, I'm like, bro, what the hell were you thinking? Like you had like it was just like such a generous offer of them to be like, we'll let you stay here, but under these conditions, and for us to be like, nah, like it was just like so ignorant. And I like that story to me is always just so bonkers because there's no reason why we should have come back. Like we should have like
They should have killed us.
it's just yeah, that was like so wild. Yeah, that was just such like a wild time when I think back to it. I'm like, dude, what was our lives? We were just so dumb, dude. Like so
We're
dumb.
kids, man. We're
Um,
absolute kids.
but it like yeah, like Nick said, just like the whole thing as like one amalgamation is just such a like a such a cool experience and like something that has taken me a long time to be like that's such a cool experience because you know it was a lot. It was a lot. It was, dude. It was a lot. It was
It
so
was a
much.
lot. Absolutely.
The longest 7 years of my life or whatever it was. uh,
But at least you guys got to go through it. You know, there's a lot of bands out there that I don't think will, depending on, especially with like how today is, you know, being things can pop off on TikTok.
Mm,
Like I said earlier, the the determination to do a tour back then, especially for the length that you guys were doing tours, is insane.
yeah.
Uh, to do like nowadays, I'm talking to people and they're like, "Oh yeah, we bought like uh Planet Fitness pass so we could all shower." It's like, oh, when we were doing it, like there, it was like you got lucky if you could shower at someone's house and even stay there, or just like get kicked out right away.
Yeah.
Like you
yeah,
would just be living in the van in filth for a few days. But like, I don't know, it's something crazy that I don't think a lot of people get to experience, and you at least have like 7 years of memories, whether you can remember them all or not,
yeah.
to fall back on.
City Hall in Nashville, that was our shower.
Oh, that was, man.
We literally got kicked out of City Hall in Nashville once because we were like it was so hot outside we hadn't showered in days and our guitarist Matt had like that like 3-in-1 men's body wash
Oh,
shampoo and
yeah.
conditioner thing and we just brought it to the fountain at City Hall and we all jumped in our underwear, lathered ourselves real fast and security was like running toward us. We're like splashing ourselves with water trying to get
Breaking
clean.
away.
It's like, sorry, we'll be out of here in a minute.
Got changed to the van and then hit the town. It was
Yeah.
great.
Man, good
Yeah.
times. Uh,
It was something.
yeah, just I don't know. That whole era was crazy because then you also had like Jake from, I think it was Jake from Handguns. You remember the
Jake
video of like him walking down Hollywood Boulevard? I think just like playing a guitar in his underwear because they were broke.
Yep.
Just the grind that all these bands had to do. Obviously, there's the documentary of the Warped Tour with Forever Came Calling and just the grind that they had to
Yeah.
fucking do. Just anyone that made it through that era alive and their band still doing anything after a certain period of time, like mad respect, because that's some road dog shit.
I remember when FCC was in that documentary and like we had just met them. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking like, these posh little pretty boys, they're in a documentary. Like they don't know punk rock. Like and then they wound up being the most punk rock band we know.
I'm gonna
Like, oh
I'm
shit.
texting Joe now.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh, this guy's in a documentary. What's he know about the struggle? Having not watched the documentary.
uh, Before we fully end, do you have any last words for the listeners?
Thank you. Honestly, like, thank you to anybody who's ever listened to, who is continuously listening. I think, again, being away for so long, to come back and know that people still care, man. Like that's my number one biggest takeaway is people still cared or still care now. And I think it was really hard for us, especially I think for me, because I never really knew how much of an impact, I had. Um, you know, again, talking with Brian a lot and kind of back and forth and airing a lot of things out, to know, to see there's tangible things that are showing that I had an impact, and that
Mhm.
means so much to me, personally. So thank you.
Fuck ice.
Yes.
By the way, in case you
But
couldn't tell.
by the way,
Yeah. No, yeah, to echo Nick, I think it's just really, really beautiful to like know that that era of our scene wasn't just like some weird experience that was just like, all right, yeah, we lived it. That's kind of it. It's like something that even seeing the TikTok resurgence and stuff like that, like I'm so out of the loop. I like
Mhm.
half the time I don't know my login and like so I'm like, but like to actually see that stuff and see like other bands that are having these resurgences and like oh god it's so weird seeing kids that are like having like this like I wish I grew up in that time period. I'm like, what do you mean? Like you're on the internet and you didn't grow up in that time period? like um it's just really it's I think that is the coolest part is like it's the coolest part is to like live through generations of it because like even though like we're only 36 and whatnot but like there's a girl that's a fan of like my side project music and whatnot and she had messaged me and she was like, "Hey, I hope this is okay to message you, but I think this is really cool. My sister just sent me this screenshot and her older sister used to come and see Major League and then sent her little sister a screenshot and was like, "Hey, that artist that you listen to all the time, Valaster, is like the guitarist of this band that I used to go and see all the time." And so now the two of them are road tripping from wherever they live to come see Major League at this show. And it's going to be this kid's first time experiencing this. And it's like, to me, it's like, that's so cool that like this thing can like transcend generations when it really just happened not that long ago.
Mhm.
But like to already know that there's like a new generation of fans that like are kind of like, hey, that stuff's pretty cool. That's a cool time period. But like when we were doing it, everybody was kind of like, this is lame. Like
You guys suck.
yeah. And so like it's such a special thing to be able to like both be a part of and witness from the sidelines at the
Mhm.
same time. And like the again going back to FCC and with the punches, like to be able to see those guys, you know, FCC, I just not only just playing with them, but also seeing them. Like I saw them in LA and like watching that crowd, it was like just a sea of people just freaking singing along to every word and blah blah blah. And like seeing people in there that I've known from LA shows and are pushing 40 and whatever else. And then also seeing like 17-year-olds that were getting dropped off also singing along. And you're just like, dude, this is so weird. It's like there's such an array of like culture in here and people and like it's just so freaking cool and to know that like we now have a chance to like both pay homage to that and be a part of it at the same time is like it's so special and like
Mhm.
we you know we'll never ever not feel like what a crazy experience like
Never.
what a crazy thing.
You know, it's been a great ride. You know, hopefully we get to do another one of these on when the next anniversary comes up.
Yeah.
You know, we'll let the people choose which one.
Yeah.
But you know, everyone, if you haven't already, be sure to go listen to Major League. I would say go pick up a copy of The Truth Is, but unfortunately, it's all sold out. Don't pay scalper prices. But if you have friends that have it, go listen to it with them, and you can listen to Hometown Heroes on that. You
We
know,
will
have a
have.
nice what?
Oh, sorry. I said we will have vinyl variants for the show.
We will.
Hell yeah.
We
Wait,
will.
we have what is this one?
Oh, do you have one right now?
Ooh.
What? I don't know what this one is though. This might not be.
Okay.
This might
Did you
be
guys
the
do
same
a
one you have.
Did you guys do a special color just for the show, or did you guys just hold some
We
back?
did. No,
So
we did
there's a special color for the show, and here it is for the first time. I picked the right one. Um, so for the VIP Wolfpack Never Alone bundle that we have, it's if you bought that ticket, we're gonna be doing like a Q&A and whatnot, and with that will also come you get a vinyl with a screen printed poster,
Mhm.
and it's gonna come in a very cool little sleeve that's exclusive just for the show and whatnot. But then also, this is for the show that will only be sold at the show for everybody else is this exclusive red and black splatter. This thing is cool. And again, once again, shout out to Lupe and Oscar. Lupe picked out all these colors and was just like, bro, you guys got to go with the red for the show exclusive. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm down for that. And when it came, I was like, this is nuts. This is like next level.
Good choice.
Yeah, super cool choice. The WPNA bundle is a blue with like red swirl splatter, which is super cool. You could see it like on the flyer or whatever that we have for it. But this one is like exclusively the show exclusive, which we're super stoked about. They did such a great job.
Yeah, that one's sick. That's the orange one, huh?
Yeah, the orange with like some blue mixed in.
Yeah, that one's really pretty.
We don't even have that one.
I know.
We didn't even get that one.
We didn't get any. I'm so disappointed.
But yes, everyone that's going to the show, go pick up your copy. If you, obviously this is coming out a week before, so hopefully for some people there's some tickets left. If there's not, it'll be live streaming on majorleague.com// no, it's not, but maybe there'll be some videos, I'm sure, going around, and maybe, hopefully we'll get to see some more live shows for Major League in the future. One last big thank you to Nick and Brian for taking the time out of your Friday to sit down with me and talk about your band.
Of course, man. Thank you so much for having us, dude. This is super cool, and
of course,
fun.
Anytime. Always down to do another one. Cheers to The Truth Is, and I'll catch everyone on the next episode.
Cheers,
my friend.
Oh yeah, so it'll cut there.
So spicy.
Cut it after that. Cut it after that.
God, it's so spicy. It is. It like kills my sinus.
Beers with Biz.